public service announcement. We know what you did.
We're back. What's going What's going on, people? What's going on, people? You know football season is on the way, because guess what? The boys are back in town. The heavy hitters. Live. K Styles is the host. To my screen right, you got Mad Mike Sports. Right below me, you know him as the minister, Jude Talk Sports.
Yes, sir. Welcome back.
Mhm.
Welcome back. Welcome back.
Welcome back.
That's the song I was
Welcome
about to say, dude.
back. And right below Mike, we have the Don El Grande, Cerro Del Verano. We back.
Hey, look, all I can say is let's go team 146. Let's go team 146. Let's get this 13th national championship this season. Let's go. Go blue.
Wait a minute. So that was the big news break that you
No,
want to start
no,
off.
that was not it. That was not
I was really hoping not. You had me excited over that
no,
crap.
that ain't it. That ain't it.
All right. But before Don break the news off, let's go ahead and show some love to the people in here. Yeah, Sherman Wood been here since about 6:30. He was here at 6:30. We got Silk Legacy, King Trey Way, ATL Leo. Um, we got one, Mr. Tactician, YMOF Jamal. So I know football season is here. He showed up. But Brian Peoples got the homie Keyshawn Bland, John St. Clair, Maurice Martin, Dreddy, Southside, Daniel Berry Sports Highlights, Georgia, Texas boy. So, as y'all already know, I gotta say it again. What Cam Newton say? We're back, minus the injury. But Don, you want to kick off the breaking news, man? Let you go
Yeah,
ahead and start us off with that.
look, man, y'all already know we love our Atlanta Falcons. And anytime something really serious happen about the Falcons, y'all already know we on top of it. So today we made national headline news. Anybody want to know what happened today?
What's that?
What happened? What?
Our
What?
Atlanta Falcons, the home of the Atlanta Falcons, the Mercedes-Benz Stadium was voted number one in USA Today. USA Today, you guys, that's a national newspaper article outlet. All right, we were voted number one in NFL stadium food. Man,
You know what?
that's
I'm not
congratulations.
even surprised by that. I'm not even surprised by that, to be
It's
honest.
but that's a big deal though, man. Y'all already know any team that come down here to Atlanta to to watch their team play us, guys, y'all already know y'all in for a treat when y'all come inside the stadium. The stadium is nice for one, but you know we not gonna break y'all pockets. Now we'll break y'all pockets everywhere else around the city. But when you come inside the Atlanta Falcons Stadium, look, you probably won't spend no more than what $20. It's you
Hmm.
got a family of four.
I'm not surprised by that. I really ain't.
Yeah. Like you said, that's one of the big deals they had when the Stanford opened up was the affordability of the food.
Mm-hmm.
And also make sure that you also add in the fact that they got I guess they got the new Dirty Bird restaurant supposed to go up there with the Dirty Bird wings. So
Yeah.
hmm
Look, man.
hmm
Look, everybody know I like to eat. But when I go there, man, I get.
No, we didn't know that.
But look, I go there, man. I spent like what $40 on food, and I'm talking about I go to the concession stand every quarter, every end of the quarter or whatever, and just eat. But first thing I do when I walk in the stadium. I know some people try to meet me or whatever, but y'all already know I'm going right to the concession stand as soon as I get in the building.
Yes,
'Cause I-
he's not joking either, y'all.
And then end of the first quarter, I go back get something to eat. Halftime, I may send in, go get something to eat. Then the end of the third quarter, you got to hurry up and go there because they close stuff down towards the end of the third, like towards when the fourth quarter start. So you go there and get you something else to eat. Hey, that's what I do.
That's a good strategy. That's good strategy. That's good strategy right there.
No, seriously, I wasn't expecting because like me, I'm the type of person I I don't necessarily like to eat when I go out a lot, and when I'm out, um, I eat very light. Like I eat light. So the fact that I go out, and I was kind of surprised to be honest. Shit, I think when I went to the bins and I decided I wanted to get something to eat, which is a rarity for me. I went out and I paid less than $10 for just myself for something. That shocked the crap out of me, to be honest. So
Mm-hmm.
it's like it's if you come to Atlanta, and you must like Jude. Jude stays in Orlando, and you plan on bringing your kids, bringing your people. Like you can eat well under $100, and you know how good that is. You know how good it is when you going out of town. You come to Atlanta, go to the Benz, and you have a nice little yeah. That's a big deal. That's a huge deal.
Mm-hmm.
Hey man. Hey man. So like I said, that's pretty much is a big deal just for the simple fact that it's to set an example um
Yep.
off the rip.
You don't have to
But
break the fans. That's I think that's another
I
thing
know.
too. You don't have to break
Yeah.
the fans because the people that support you,
But
it's like that's the biggest thing for me.
but
Yeah,
a
but
lot
you
of
can get
we're not even just talking about even you got Atlanta United, you got all these other sporting events coming. The Super Bowl, the World Cup is coming here next year. All right. And this
Mhm,
is, like I said, this is a big deal. The world is on us. The eyes are on Atlanta right now because of the World Cup, and a lot of people
mhm,
knowing that, dang, you can go here to this stadium in America. Inflation high here. We can actually eat and it won't hurt us. And you
Mm-hmm.
got people we got people coming from third world countries. Just they saved up all their lives just to go to a soccer game.
Yeah.
That means a lot to them. That means a lot to a lot of people.
mhm. Yeah, to think about it, you think about it, we get about 3 or 4 games for the World Cup. Shoot,
Mhm.
that's about man, look, that's about close to 800 million to $1.2 billion in revenue for the city in itself. So
Mm-hmm.
hey, I'm fucking with it. But let's go ahead and get right into the show, man. Let's get right into the show. As you already see, tonight's episode. It is the aftermath of the Atlanta Falcons 53. And
For
if you missed
three.
that, do it again, Mike. For what?
For three.
There you go. And y'all got a chance to watch Jude last night give
Oh
his
yeah.
thoughts on the 53. The what, Mike? The 50 what?
Three.
We gonna go ahead and give our thoughts as the heavy hitters. Our thoughts on the final 53. What were some of the surprises? And as we kind of await the depth chart for the first game, what are some guys that we are expecting to? Well, is there any surprise guys that we're looking for to become starters? Not Southside talking about Taylor Heineke for what, Mike?
3 interceptions.
Yeah. We seen Taylor Heineke do it. We saw Desmond Ritter do it. We saw Kirk Cousins do it. Yeah, it was a lot of quarterbacks shooting threes out there.
Yes.
I ain't even count Logan Woodside, but that's my thing. Now, Jude, I'm gonna let you kick us. I'm gonna let the minister bless us with this on this here, so he can kind of recap and kind of plug in the 53 and what his thoughts were and any kind of surprises. Then I'm gonna let Don go right afterwards. So, Jude, go ahead and kick us off, man.
All right, man. So if you guys didn't watch my live show last night, I definitely want to go back and recap that. As I call it, Tuesday nights on Tuesday nights. So y'all definitely go check out. It's no
Oh,
longer Tuesdays. It's
like
now
that. I like
Tuesdays.
that.
Oh,
It's
wait a minute.
live.
Oh, I
Wait
like
a minute.
That five. That five.
Yeah. You hear the minister over here preaching. He said Tuesday night.
Tuesday. Oh boy, I like that.
On Tuesday night.
Yes, y'all make sure y'all go recap that. But I'll say this about the 53-man roster as far as like the surprises. I was surprised to see us keep 4 tight ends. Felipe Franks, I didn't see him making the team. I thought we would keep more defensive linemen on the team, but we end up only keeping 5. So, like, just looking at the roster, the one thing that I'll say so I can save some for you guys is just it looks like we really value the special team side of the game. And I know K Styles is going to love that because that's his specialty. When you talk about special teams, he always talks about that third phase of the game that we forget about. And to me, that was the biggest thing that I noticed about the 53-man roster. They value the special teams by keeping Felipe Franks, by keeping guys like Mike Ford, like all the guys that you look at that play special teams, Jamal Agnew, those guys I thought were on the bubble, especially like guys like Jamal Agnew, just for the mere fact that we didn't see him at all during preseason, didn't see him at all for the most part during training camp because he was battling some injuries and things of that nature. Felipe Franks was not on nobody's radar, I don't believe. Maybe K Styles, but like I said, he knows, special teams is something that he always preaches. But if we look back at some of last year's games, if you guys haven't got to check out the Falcons Audible, I checked it out earlier when I got off work, and I love to listen to Dave Archer, listen to Rackley and Shockley talk about the Falcons, and they talked about the special teams, being valued, and they talked about really how the special teams kind of got overlooked last year, or how bad the special teams was in certain games. So we know that just that phase of the game is controlling the field position battle and stuff like that. Field goals. Usually these games gonna come down to the last possession. And there was a couple games last year where the Washington game, you make that field goal, boom, you win that game. You're still in the playoff contention. We know Youngway Koo missed a ton of field goals last year due to injury, but that still was an issue for us last year. Covering kicks and covering punts was another issue that we had. Ray McLeod, I remember in one of those games where he fumbled the ball, the team that had just scored, it was a one possession game. He fields the kickoff and fumbles in a crucial position and give them an opportunity to kind of double up possession. So the small intricate details that we always talk about where the game is won and lost. I always talk about complementary football, and last year we kind of struggled with complementary football. Raheem Morris calling timeouts. So, yeah, man. So I really feel like the special teams is what they really focused on this year, keeping guys like D'Angelo Malone on the roster. Cordell Hodge is one of those guys that's a special teams ace. So they really valued that side of the ball this year, which I think is going to pay dividends as the season stretches out because with the right tackle situation, we're probably going to have more close games than what I thought we would have because we're kind of going to be juggling and they're trying to figure out that spot at right tackle. So the special teams could either win us a game or lose us a game. So, hopefully Jamal Agnew being on this roster, and I said this last night during my show, them keeping him on this roster, he deserves to give us a kickoff return for a touchdown, a punt return for a touchdown, or either run us down into the red zone, get us in the plus 50-yard line based off of them keeping them on the roster. That's what I'm looking for from a Jamal Agnew is flip the field. Same thing with Bradley Pinion. When you punt the ball, get us a couple like we see in the preseason when you put them, on a 10-yard line, a 5-yard line, where our defense can kind of, do their thing and give our offense good field position. So that's what I'm paying attention to as far as this 53-man roster. The special teams is what they kind of hung their hat on. I really feel like that'll benefit this team moving forward because it kind of got overlooked a little bit last season based off of how poorly Kirk Cousins played down the stretch. We really didn't. I know for personally, I didn't really pay attention a whole lot to the special teams. I was just upset because we blew that six, being up 6-3, winning 6 games early, only losing 3 games, and then that flipping on his head and us going on that long losing streak. We kind of all just focused on Kirk Cousins and the poor coaching, but special
Mm-hmm.
teams to me was kind of overlooked. So it looks like this year they're putting the microscope on that position. Like, hey, get us there, help us pick up the other side of the ball. We always talk about if the defense is struggling, offense, we need you to pick it up. If the offense is struggling and defense, special teams, we need y'all to get us a touchdown. We need y'all to, pin them deep. We need y'all to do something that flip the momentum in our favor. So that's what I'm focusing on this year is the special teams. It looks like that's where they kind of hung their hat.
Okay. Okay. All right, Don, man. So Falcon 53. Um, what's your thoughts on that, man? How any surprises to you? Go ahead, Don. What you got, folks?
Shit. Drew already said everything. Like he hit every point. Like we focusing a lot on special teams this year, which is good. Cause there's gonna be close games we're gonna have because our defense, we still don't know the identity of that. Our offense is still young, but now we got a huge hole at that right tackle spot. So Cook gonna have to come in and be clutch. We got to rely on him a lot, more than likely. There's gonna be a lot of close games, but we know that's how games come down. That's the Falcons' way. Games always come down to the damn wire. Am I lying?
No, sir.
What about that?
So you got to be strong in that area.
Yeah. Yeah, that pretty much like Juice said, when you got guys like a Felipe Franks, when you got guys like a D'Angelo Malone, the Mike Fords and stuff like that. Yeah, like you said, these are names that a lot of Falcon fans may have saw as surprising. But yeah, like just to reiterate what Juice said, a lot of the great teams, a lot of the teams that look to be good also have to focus on the special teams aspect of things. Um, because we've seen teams before, the 2010 San Diego Chargers at a point in time who had one of the best teams in the NFL, but the worst special teams in football, and they had a 79 season,
Mm-hmm.
which was unheard of when you have the number one offense and the number one defense in the NFL will go 79. Hey, you like you say, you want to cover every single aspect of football as you can. Keyshawn Vlad here say David Seals making it was a shock to him. Um, what I say what really did shock me, and like you said, it's the 4 tight ends and the 7 wide receivers. That kind of surprised me a little bit. Um, which kind of goes into the special team conversation in itself because you got about 2 or 3 special team specialists in that room combined. What you think about that, Mike?
Well, I think you know, trying to reiterate what you guys said about special teams. if you look at last year against the Steelers, that was a pretty much a special team type of game. I mean, they beat us with 5 field goals, 6 field goals was it? You look at
Yeah,
it like that, man. A special teams is huge. Like if we kick field goals instead of going for it in the red zone, and actually making that kick for Riley Patterson, we win those games. So like Drew stated earlier about, it's easy to point the finger at Kirk Cousins for being injured. It's easy to point the finger at Raheem, but like if Ray Magoof holds on to the ball, we're not talking about a lot of stuff. If we had a returner that was actually aggressive last year, because if I'm not mistaken, didn't we have Williams? Wasn't Avery
no,
Williams the guy?
Williams was hurt. Avery Williams was hurt most of last year, so they had to rely on. I think Williams. I think
I
Avery
know he
Williams
won
played like.
for a little bit though. I think
Yeah,
he
it
was
was
pretty
like
valuable though.
half the season that he got hurt.
Okay, so that's the thing. It's like the return game, and for me too, looking at the NFL, they're trying to um kind of deter kickers from kicking the ball to the end zone to get more return yardage. So I like I said, man, I love the attention to detail, because of the thing is you just never know how things are going to come down in the NFL game. You may have, your quarterback is the weather may play a factor, and your quarterback may not be in a position where he can sling the ball 40, 50 times in a game. So you're going to have to rely on special teams, field goals, returns, ball security, and those things. So these are the things about football that goes, like I like to say, the small, intricate details of football that are very important.
Mm.
And I'm gonna say this too. I know Dunn probably gonna like me saying this, but this is what makes Alabama and Michigan special, because Alabama, Michigan, Georgia, that's what makes them special, because not only is they bringing in the best recruits, but like they don't fumble the ball. They got good special teams, return game. Like these are the aspects of the game that blows games open, especially in college. Like you can. I've seen games where Georgia didn't score a single offensive touchdown, and it's like 30-0 in the game. You know what I'm saying? So these are the things about football that goes unnoticed.
Yeah,
Yep.
yeah.
And
Uh,
too, people forget, like last year it was the first year under the new rule last year. So this is the
Mm-hmm.
second year. Right? So a lot of special team specialists now, they gonna perfect this new style.
Mm-hmm.
yeah, that's true. That's true. BP here said the way he was fair catching last year. I forgot he was the damn returner. That's
Yeah.
the the Eric Wing School of Returning Kicks. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
John St. Clair said that they may be relying on Michael Penix's arm a lot more this year. Um,
I
I
don't
don't
think so. I don't
I
think
don't
so.
think so. Yeah, I don't think that's it. Said Keyshawn said the Falcons beat the Saints without scoring a single offensive touchdown last year. There you go. But let's see. Are there any more surprises? And I think, and from what I'm thinking, is the significance of the Caleb McGarry injury is what prompted those 7 wide, 4 tight ends as well. For the simple fact that maybe they're going to be relying more so on getting the ball out quick.
Mm-hmm.
And they're gonna be relying on the tight ends to kind of do a lot of chipping this year. So there's probably gonna be a lot of chipping on that right side because speaking of that. the right tackle situation, as y'all saw that we got the trade for from the cat from Seattle. Um, I don't know too much about him like that, but all I know is I have to go back to that Seattle game last year because that was the first time he actually had played was against us in the Seattle game. But I want to ask you this question. What do you think is the adjust? What, in your opinion, what do you think would be the adjustment for Zach Robinson now that we kind of have a plug in at right tackle? Do you think they still go with the same type of thing? Or do you think that adjusted with some kind of chip releases and kind of try to compensate for that right tackle spot? What's your thoughts on that, man?
Yeah, so you hit the nail on the head. I mean, I just think you got to be mindful that whoever is playing that right tackle spot, you want to give them some help. Chipping, like you said, the ball needs to come out a little bit quicker. So no long development plays. We don't need to go back to the days of Dirk Cutter where everybody's running 20 yards down the field and the guys just holding on to the ball. Where you put more stress on the offensive line. I really feel like they need to rely on Bijan Robinson, rely on Tyler Algier, Nathan Carter that made the roster. Run the ball and allow your offensive line to be physical and control both lines of scrimmage. You guys know that I'm big on the trenches. Like we keep saying that they're going to attack on the defensive line. I want these offensive linemen to be nasty in attack. This should be the Bijan Robinson and Tyler Algier show, just for the mere fact that I'm not putting a ton of pressure on Michael Penix to go out there and win games. I said this last year with Kirk Cousins. What made me mad with Kirk Cousins last year is there were certain games where we were in the game. The defense was playing well enough to keep us in the game, but Kirk Cousins felt like I got to go out here and win the game. And I really feel like if you look at a quarterback in Jalen Hurts with the Eagles, everybody talks about him like what makes him a special quarterback or what makes him good, and they talk about him being a winner. I think Jalen Hurts' biggest, I say, the factor that makes him a winner is he never tries to do too much. And Kay, you know, you're big on this when we had Desmond Ritter talking about the quarterback trying to do too much. I don't want Michael Penix to go out there and do too much. I want him to be himself. So if he's a gunslinger, be who you are, but I feel like Zach Robinson also has to be wise because you know you down your right tackle. I'm not saying that, play scared, but I'm saying be wise. And every game is going to be different. So depending on who you're playing, if there's a premier pass rusher like last year, game one, you're facing TJ Watt. I don't think you want to leave anybody alone with TJ Watt too long. I don't care, even if it's Jake Matthews. I don't want him having to match up with TJ Watt all game by himself. I'm shipping all them elite pass rushers. I'm shipping you on the way out. Even if Caleb McGarry was out there, I feel like at times you need to chip those guys and give those guys different looks because they're too smart. They're too savvy. We seen last year how TJ Watt basically wrecked the game. You know what I'm saying? That's just the type of player he is. So I feel like Zach Robinson just has to understand situations. You guys know I said this a ton of times last year. Zach Robinson called good plays, but at times it was just like he didn't understand momentum. Like if we running the ball at 5 yards a clip, there's no reason for me to throw the football right now. I'm just being honest with you guys. I literally seen, the biggest problem that we had with Shanahan when he was here and when he's been with the 49ers is he was doing the same thing. He didn't understand situations. If you're up, why are you trying to pass the ball? Just because? If they can't stop my run, I'm gonna keep running it. If I'm getting 5 yards a clip, I'm gonna keep running it until they stop it. And I really feel like this should be a big dose, especially that first game against the Bucks. Early on to slow down their pass rush, just run the ball. And then eventually what they're gonna do is they're gonna have to adjust to what you're doing. So they see, oh man, they're running the ball. Let us bring some guys down in the box. That'll open up the passing lanes for Penix to throw the ball down the field. Now I'm not saying dumb the playbook down. But what I'm saying is let your physicality dominate. By the fourth quarter, they're going to be wore out, and then you can throw the ball. But early on, I'm trying to, as they say, shorten necks. On the line, I want them guys to be physical. Let Wilkinson, if he's going to be the starting right tackle, let him run at them guys. I don't want him starting the game off backpedaling. and let them guys pin their ears back because the Buccaneers, they got Hassan Reddick over there. He's the guy that wants to pin his ears back. We know that Todd Bowles is known for throwing those exotic blitzes and things of that nature. So the way you slow that down is quick passes and running the ball right at them guys. We did it last year when we faced them. When you let Bijan Robinson, Tyler Algier, let those guys run at them, let our offensive line be physical and attack their defensive line, and let it be the war of attrition up front, and then you open up that play action pass for Michael Penix. But don't come out 5 wide, 4 wide, spreading out because when you come out playing finesse football, physical teams love that. When they see you coming out 5 wides, the Steelers are not afraid when they see a team spread out. They want you to, try to play that style because they can allow TJ Watt to pin his ears back. They hate when you try to make it a game power versus power, where when you see the Ravens and Steelers go up against each other and it's mano y mano, it's going to be a black and blue type game. That's what I want to see this Falcons team come out and do week 1 against the Buccaneers. Establish your physicality. Once you establish that physicality, it'll open up what you're trying to do through the air. But don't come out saying that this game is going to be won or lost on Michael Penix's arm. I don't think that would be smart, especially because if Penix comes out in that first game and he doesn't play really well and you put it all on him, we know how this media is going to get. He might even get in his own head because if he throw a couple of interceptions early, I want Penix to be able to establish some confidence. So the way you allow him to establish confidence is let him have that security blanket with the tight ends we talked about, with feeding the running backs out of the backfield if you're going to pass the ball. Quick, short passes. Don't have him trying to read and diagnose Todd Bowles' exotic blitzes. I don't want the game to be in his hands. I want it to be about the physicality and about us establishing the dominance of the trenches. I really feel like that's where the game is going to be won and lost, especially in week 1, because we know how the type of coach Todd Bowles is.
Mm, mm. Um, Go ahead, Don. What you got to respond to that, man?
It's just everything in a nutshell, man. Like shit. Um, like I said, it's just again, it's situational. Like we want this team, like we talk about these players and stuff, like them, taking the next leap. What about this coaching staff? This coaching staff need to take the next leap. Like it's like I said, Zach Robinson, this your second year, man. You gotta do better with situation play calling on the offensive side of the ball. Obrick, like, look, this like I said, with him and Raheem, man, this y'all kind of last chance trying to prove yourselves. So our defense gotta be playing average football, man. At least average. I'm not even gonna say like some of these weird fans out here talking about top 5 defense, top 10 defense, bro. No, we're not a complete defense yet. We're not. I'm talking about talent wise. We're not average at best. If we can stay average all year long, and our offense can play above average, like we can win this. We can win this division. This division is winnable. It's just when things come down to the wire, we gotta knuckle up and get to it. Who want it more? And it's gonna show.
So,
So
wow. So what you're saying is the expectation is to get to the next level, or if that is the case, um, heads is gonna roll from Atlanta Falcon media if they don't get this thing rolling. Let's get
I,
to a few of these comments right quick. With Amy here said we still gotta protect that blind side. It's gonna be an issue for him. Um, let's see what else we got. Marquis said, as long as Raheem the Clown is the coach, this team will always be undisciplined. He is an attention to detail type of coach. He's too busy grinning. Attitude reflects leadership, even poor leadership. Um, Let me see what else was said. Trouble lots was going on. Zach Robinson has to feed the hot hand. As y'all saw, his tactician saying that quick passing, they relied on the run game. Taking Pool said Seals making the 53 roster over Chris Blair surprised him. Millie Mills, Jermaine Williams. We top defense. You think it's small? We're not a top five. We right now on paper we are not a top five defense. Like I said,
We're
it
not.
just gonna be depending on. It just depends on how well they play.
If we're a top 5 defense, Obrick is gonna be a head coach next year at some other team. I'm telling you.
Yeah, I agree on that. Um, let's see. So, Mike, this time to shine on this. As you see, Tank here said David Seal making 53 over Chris Blair was a surprise. Um, as far as that wide receiver room, um, why do you think David Seals? Why do you think that a guy like Chris Blair, who we saw, who was kind of like the big play guy in the preseason, didn't make the team? I mean, I kind of got my reasons why, but I will let you shoot for this one. Well, why do you think that is?
Um, um, I have to say that this is much more about what Michael Penix is. It's like we're so focused on the wide receivers. I don't think that matters at this point because it's his first full year as a quarterback. And I think the worst thing that you could do is focus on the wide receivers and not what the quarterback likes to do. And I think
Mm,
you look at David Seals, no, he doesn't have a lot of chemistry with Michael Penix. You look at Chris Blair, obviously he has chemistry with him for obvious reasons. You look at Nick Nash and what he is. He's a big physical guy that can run after the catch. And the thing is, even with the tight ends, none of this surprised me because again, I try to tell you. Okay, I tell you, look at it from a quarterback standpoint. What are the quarterback's skills? Michael Penix likes to fit the ball into tight spaces. So what did that tell you? If you got these little scrawny ass wide receivers that can't take a hit, yeah, they're fast, yeah, they're big play. These guys are not gonna last with Michael Penix because he's gonna put you in a position where you're gonna have to take a hit. And I think we know how that could play out. So you look at Drake, big physical. Mooney, he's very, even though he's about my size, about 6'1", 6'2", 180, 90 pounds, somewhere in there. Um, he he's very good at not taking big hits.
And he correct
Uh,
great separation.
separation. So he fits perfectly with a guy like Michael Penix. And then you look at, all the other guys, Charlie Warner, all the guys are physical. So Michael Penix is going to put these wide receiver positions. I mean, Ray McLeod is another one of those guys who's good at creating separation when he has the ball. He's good at running after the catch. He can take a hit, all those types of things. These guys don't get hit. Ray McLeod, one thing I'd say about Ray and Mooney, they don't take big hits. And you're going to get that with a guy that is a gunslinger. Michael Penix is a gunslinger. He's going to hit you in the head, back of the head if you're not paying attention. So you need guys around him that are physical. They're very good at detail and understanding where the defenses is. And like I said, not getting hit. The object. A lot of people don't think the object of the game is to not get hit. You don't want to get hit. Okay, running backs don't want to get hit. Okay, they don't have a choice but to get hit. But a running back, again, you smart running back. Let me say that smart running backs because Devontae Freeman was one of those guys that was going after this just going out his way to
Nah,
try to
that was
get
just
get
Bam Bam right there. That was
it's
Bam
just
Bam. He
dumb.
like to run in the wall and shit.
Yeah,
That
just
yeah,
running the wall. When guys like Ward Dunn tell him, "Hey man, you need to learn how to protect yourself. Go out of bounds when it's necessary." So those are the types of players that you want around Michael Penix and not a bunch of idiots.
yeah. I mean, like you said with Seals and like you said with Chris Blair, if anybody kind of paid attention to Chris Blair the last couple years, yeah, I think their understanding of him as being a guy who is a big play capable guy for this team. But then it's a lot of times where he drops a lot of easy passes as well, and it kind of goes with that mindset. And Mike talked about with Penix being a gunslinger. Like I said, you don't want to be dropping easy passes when you're dealing with a guy like that. And like you said, Chris Blair with the big plays comes with crucial drops. Like you said, David Seals, we don't really know too much about him as far as as season wise. But like you said, I think he's another one of those special teams guys too. Um, but um it's another position back. I think it's another position after this 53 that's very intriguing too. And I've seen quite a few people kind of talk about this. Um, I want to ask you, Jude, what is your thoughts on the corner position? Because looking based off of how they depth charted, well, not depth chart, but as far as the roster is set, we talked about 7 wide receivers and 4 tight ends. We're looking at right now 7 corners and 3 safeties
Mm.
in your secondary. Um, what's your thoughts on that, man?
So I think that they look for guys that have versatility, and that's what I kind of talked about, and Ben talked about in my videos and things of that nature. But I really feel like the Billy Bowman's of the world. He's a guy that can play like that rover position. He can play a little bit of safety. DeMarco Hellams, he's another guy that's basically like a baby linebacker. Yeah, he's a safety, but you can drop him down in the box. And I think in some instances, you're going to be running like a 3-3-5. So he's a guy that can play in the middle of the field, and he prefers to play at the second level over, that third level. But I really feel like we're going to see certain instances where you're going to have Watts, Bates, and Helms on the field, especially if it's like a third and long situation. I'm taking one of those linebackers off the field, like the Caden Ellis's or the Devon Diablos, and you can easily see a Helms out there, especially if you're just looking for somebody to spot a quarterback, because we know he shot out of a cannon and he picks up on reads very, very quickly. If you guys didn't see Mad Mike's breakdown when he broke down the play of Helms making that tackle in the first preseason game, one thing I like about Helms is once he picks up on something, he reminds me of Keanu Neal because he just reads and he reacts. He doesn't wait. If he's gonna be wrong, he's gonna be wrong, but he's gonna shoot gaps. He's gonna make a play on the ball. He has very, very good instincts. So he's a guy that I would love to see as like a spy, especially when we get in those situations with quarterbacks that like to take off and run. They're not going to be able to run from Helms because he's a guy that doesn't wait. He's going to shoot his gap. And if you're talking about situations where you're doing simulated blitzes and stuff like that, he's the perfect type of player. Both him and Billy Bowman, because of their aggressiveness, they're not afraid to knock themselves out of a game as far as the way that they play the game with a reckless abandon. That's the type of guys that you need on the field. So I really feel like that's the reason why they kept only 3 safeties. Fuller is a guy that I think he is on the practice squad, if I'm not mistaken, Jordan Fuller. So he could be a guy that they can elevate at any time. But I really feel like they got him on the team because they know at some point I'm knocking on wood for Helms. I don't want to see him knock himself out of a game. But the way that he plays the game is, like I said, he's so physical that He'll knock himself out the game, knock one of his players out the game, because he's one of them guys who just reads and reacts. He does not wait. And I love the way he plays the game because you need a guy. And I told Mike this when he showed me, sent me the video that he did on Helms, is like, you need that intimidation factor on your team. You need those type of players. Billy Bowman also is like, to me, a baby linebacker that just got coverage skills. He reminds me of Brian Poole in that 2016, 2017 team, where sure tackler, a guy that can blitz, a guy that can cover, a guy that can play safety, a guy that can play the nickel. So you have so many different guys on this team that can do a lot of different things, which is going to make this defense really scary. And going back to a little bit to what Don was talking about a top five defense. I don't need this team to be top five defense. I don't need them to be top 10 defense. What I need is turnovers. If you guys remember that 2017 team, they was in the 20s. When you look at their defensive rate, like how many yards and stuff they gave up. But what made that team special is when you needed a stop, they came away with the football. The only time they didn't come away with the football when they needed it was in the Super Bowl. And to be honest, in that game, Robert Alford had a pick six. Deion Jones stripped, I think it was LeGarrette Blount in that game. So it was even plays in that game where the defense, took the ball away from the Patriots in that game. So that's what I want this defense to do this season. We got to win the turnover battle. We have to. What has to be this calling card on this defense is turnovers. Create turnovers. If you create turnovers, we know we're gonna put up points, but we need the ball to put up points. And last year, the biggest issue was we couldn't get the stops when we really, really needed them. We couldn't get off the field on third and fourth down when teams would go for it. They would pick up fourth downs. They would pick up third and shorts. Well, when you're on the field, when the offense is on the sideline, they can't score points. So I really feel like what this team got to focus on in this particular season, not necessarily being a top ranked defense. You want to be one of the defenses that is top ranked in turnovers, taking the ball away and putting your team on a short field, giving Michael Penix and Bijan and all of that talent you have on the offensive side more cracks at scoring touchdowns and putting points up. If you do that, I want the opposing team chasing points. That's what we want to do. We want to take away their game plan. So I really feel like the defense, for what they looked at this year, it's mainly based off of athleticism. If you look at how this team is built, I keep going back to 2016 because that team was based off of athleticism. Deion Jones, Devondre Campbell, Vic Beasley. You had elite athletes. If you look at this defense, that's what you have, a bunch of elite athletes, even on the defensive line. If you pay attention, we don't have many fat slobs on this team. To be honest, as much as I want that one tech, that 330 pounder, we mainly have a lot of guys that's going to run. Walker can run, Pierce can run, even Ruka Warrow and Brandon Doyle. So I don't know if you've seen those guys running during the preseason games, but those guys can get sideline to sideline quick. So this defense is going to be based off of athleticism, speed, and just being in attack mode at all times.
And speaking of preseason, and speaking of what you said about with Brandon Doyle, is they did something a little bit different with him this preseason that I wasn't really expecting. Actually, him and Zach Harrison, they kind of interchanged them between D tackles and D ends quite a bit this preseason. Something a little bit different just to put food for thought. Because I know for me, as far as kind of like the preseason depth chart, when they have put Zach Harrison as the backup defensive tackle behind Ruka Roro. But I kind of saw a lot of Brandon Doyle is all playing all four spots on the defensive line, which intrigued me a little bit. Now, Don, what is your take on how they're interchanging these defensive linemen and kind of making them a little bit more versatile throughout all 3 to 4 spots on the defensive line?
You got to see what their strengths are against the opposing lines. Not only that, I like this because if they try to run stunts, this would be an easy way to do it. They know the foot movement. They know how to attack, each technique. So That's my thought on it.
Okay. Said, do y'all know why Morgan Fox was cut and what's your thoughts on Sylvia Barrow being waived? I've been hearing a lot of buzz about him. You want to take that, Mike? You want to take that question, Mike?
He suck. Do I need to say anything else? He sucks. If you got cut, you suck.
I'll be honest
Who
with you.
places who he's gonna replace? Nobody. Football is not that
Nobody.
difficult, y'all. It just
Yeah, I'll be honest.
it
I'll be honest with you. I forgot Morgan Fox was even on the damn
that
team, to be honest
that
with
ding 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 ding. Look at the roster. Like football really ain't that difficult, man. It's just like who you gonna take? Scottie Pippen, LeBron James, Kobe Bryant, and then you look at them toes. You're like, all right, which one of you guys gonna cut one of them? Shit, look, that's a simple question. Now one of them. Like
you.
that's a simple question. If a guy got cut and he ain't with the team, he ain't good enough. I
or
don't know
athletic
what else
enough,
to tell
Mike.
y'all. I don't know what else to tell y'all. Go ahead, Jude.
God damn.
Nah, I don't want to. I don't mean to cut in. I said he not athletic enough either. Like if you
Mhm.
look at the guys that they kept, like I was surprised Contavious Street went on the team, but it was almost like they were timing these guys out there. When you talk about Ohio State as athletes, they looked at this
Mhm.
team, said they literally was out there practicing, and I really feel like they were watching the motor of these guys. When I seen
Yeah.
Lakel London in those preseason games, did you see that dude's motor? I mean, I seen
Yes.
some plays where he hit the quarterback in the head. He was getting penalties and stuff, but
Yep.
they like his attitude and they were looking at who playing with that motor. I don't know if you guys noticed, but Morgan Fox played a little bit during the preseason. And I don't want to cast any aspersions and say that he didn't play well, but I didn't see the same motor. And all Ollie teaches is what? Run through the dark room. I want you to have a certain type of motor. If you're not in attack mode, Ollie gonna bench you. That's just how it is.
Mhm.
If you're not running around like a Tasmanian devil and you don't make him feel like you're aggressive, if he sees any inch of you not being aggressive or you being passive, he gonna bench you. That's just how it is. You got to be out there playing, going 100 miles an hour at all times with this defensive line. So to do that, you're gonna have to have guys that are lean. That's why I said there ain't really many fat slobs on this team. As much as I like really big guys, they want guys when they keep talking about guys running out of the stack. Basically, what that means is if somebody catch the ball down the field, they want you to take your big fat tail and run down the field 15, 10 yards and go make the play. They don't want you to wait on Jesse Bates. Because if you guys look at the last couple of years, we've been having D. Alford being one of the guys that's leading us in tackles. They want some of these guys on the defense of the line that have 10 tackles in the game. That's what it's telling me. When you go out and get Pierce and Walker, those dudes can run. Mike can tell you. He watched a lot of Jalen Walker at Georgia. He was a linebacker. Like he played off ball linebacker, meaning he can run. That's why I talk about those running quarterbacks and stuff like that. The days of the Kyler Murrays and what we seen last year against Washington, where Jaden Daniels in
Mhm.
that overtime basically just used his legs on every third and fourth down. He just took off running. Good luck with trying to run away from Pearson, Walker, and Aurora Road. We got a NASCAR package. If you go look at that Giants team that beat the Patriots, the undefeated Patriots team, that's what we have. When they had Tuck and Strahan and Kiwanuka and all of those guys, OC Umiura, we can literally put four guys out there that are athletes that you're not gonna run from them guys. So if you got a quarterback that's just gonna look and say, all right, I'm just gonna quarterback draw on this play, good luck. That's all I say. Good luck with trying to run away from
Um,
these guys.
let me fact check. Morgan Fox was signed to a 1 year deal for $3 million. He wasn't necessarily he was on a 1 year vet deal. Um, like you said, he didn't perform up to it. Like I said before, I forgot that motherfucker was even on the team. I heard nothing about him throughout the preseason. And like I
Shit,
said,
I knew.
and, uh, and like I said, you have a lot of investments on that defensive line that was already on the team anyway. So the thing about it was, in order for him to make the team, he was going to have to stand out somehow, and unfortunately, he didn't stand out. Um, Which get one more. I got one more question, and we can go ahead and wrap it up. It's another defense question. Troy Anderson will be starting the season on the puck list. Um, that's probably would kind of also explain a lot of the corners involved. Um, do you think that this is the last year of Troy Anderson in Atlanta?
Yes.
If yeah, if
I can answer that
it,
career. Yeah.
I don't
I don't
because
think so either.
because the thing is, like, we're giving this guy crap for no reason if you really think about it. It's
He
not
been
like he has playing terrible.
he's been hurt most of the time.
Yeah. So I like you the thing is some players have bad luck to the start of their careers. Like it's happened throughout the entire NFL. I mean, Drew Brees is a perfect example. Drew Bledsoe is a perfect example of guys that's had. Chad Pennington is one of those guys had this horrible starts to their careers and they end up picking it up when they get healthy. It just happens. So like I think the Falcons are doing. I think Raheem, Jeff Ulbrich, they're doing the right thing. Like because the last thing you want to do is have another 4-year Aluakon type of situation. He becomes a good linebacker, and you just gave up on him because you didn't think he would be as good as you thought he was, or whatever the case may be, injuries. And then he go to another team, hint hint Saints, and he become all pro linebacker there. Like you don't want these types of things. So I think Falcons need to do the right thing, give him a legitimate chance. If he gets hurt, I mean it'll play out, but I don't think he's played horrible. I think he played actually great.
Yeah. It's just like you got to give players time, man. Like for instance, a good football player right now, Nico Collins. The Houston
He got
Texans
us slow
give up
start.
on his ass. They wanted to give up on him. For the past couple of seasons, he been playing well. He made the play Pro Bowl last year.
and what school did Nico Collins go to, Don?
Did you say
I said, I said, what school
Looks
did
like
Nico
what you
Collins
say.
go to? Talk about what you say.
but seriously though, they wanted to give up on him, and like now they have their star receiver. You know, they've been looking crazy ever since whatchamacallit left. You
They
know,
gave up on Foyer, y'all. I'm like Southside. You
we,
sit up there and say that they could have gave that man an offer. He just wanted to offer. We didn't give him anything. We didn't offer him
we
anything.
could offer it. Like it ain't like we were trying to pay him top 5 linebacker of the league. Like I felt like he could have got market value. We could have paid him a little bit, you know, around market value.
I mean, I mean, it has Foyer really been the same linebacker since leaving Atlanta?
He has.
Because
He's been a like the thing is, man. What do you? The
Played
thing
against
is,
us a couple
everybody be looking for like Pro Bowl, Hall of Fame. Like that, you don't need that to be a great defense or good defense. You just need quality players. Like, what's wrong with playing quality linebackers and quality wide receivers? Like, the thing is, this is why I be so pissed off when people say we need to get rid of Kyle Pitts. Like, he's just been trash. No, he's been one of the top in the top 5 and top 10 every out of all his years in playing in the NFL. He's only not been because he was injured. He's always been a quality tight end and above average, way above average. And we just want to get rid of guys. I think that's the thing with a lot of analysts and fans. If you're not a Pro Bowler, then you're not worth it. And I don't agree with that at all.
Yeah.
mm,
Hey, with Fourier,
now,
y'all talk bad about Fourier, but remember a couple years ago, we went over there across the pond in London to play Jacksonville, and Fourier gave us hell that whole game. Just saying. Yeah.
I'll say
All
I'll
we
say this, Kev, before you go.
Go ahead. Go ahead.
Um, I agree with what Mike said about Troy Anderson. I don't think that he should go, but I think everything's barring on this year. Like once he comes back from injury, he's literally gonna have to like have a really good season and stay healthy throughout the season. Because I really feel like I think his rookie contract is over after this year. So if he's a free agent after this year, I don't see him being re-signed by the Falcons because I don't think that they're going to trust that he's going to be able to stay healthy. It ain't based off of his skill set. I think when he's on the field, he showed that he's a dominant force. He's a really good athlete, so he can play special teams. He's a Swiss Army knife. I just don't think that they're gonna trust that. Pay him even if they give him like a 2 year deal, something like that. Unless he takes like a bargain deal, I don't see him being back with the Falcons because for one, the fan base in Atlanta, we're not patient. Like we keep saying, everybody ready already to throw him to the wolves, throw him off the boat and drown. Like they are ready to get rid of him. I think that we're as this panel, we understand that it takes time for guys to develop and stuff like that. But I feel like they already are trying to replace him. Like if you seen them bring it in, the Devon Diablo was literally a move to get rid of Troy Anderson because it's like, okay, this guy
I'm
can't
glad
stay.
you. I'm
Yeah, he
glad you
can't stay
said that.
healthy. Yeah, so I agree with what you guys said about. I love Troy Anderson. I think he was the perfect fit here in Atlanta. I just think that based off him not staying healthy, it's gonna be the situation you talk about, Mike. I think he's gonna go to another team and he's gonna be just like you seen what happened with Zach Bond when he went from the Saints over to the Eagles. On the Saints, he was like nothing to them. Was injured all the time. They were not playing him. They were playing him out of position. Like he wasn't playing that off-ball linebacker. They were kind of using him as like a guy coming off the edge. He moved over to the Eagles last year. He had an All-Pro season and ended up getting a big contract. So I just had that funny feeling that it's gonna be the same thing with Troy Anderson. It's like he's injured here. He gonna finally probably get it together, and somebody else gonna sign him, and he gonna end up being a Pro Bowler for them.
But the thing is with that, Jude, like Caden Ellis is also. So
hmm
this we got Divine Diablo. He only signed a 2 year deal, so there's no
Yeah,
guarantee he'll be back next year. So I don't think this. Everybody pointing the finger at Troy as if he's on the spot. No, all of these linebackers on the spot. We did not have linebackers this year that played well outside of
right,
Caden Ellis. That's it. So this is look. We got him for pretty much scraps and Diablo. So
right.
how are we as a team just gonna point the finger at him? Like another thing too. If I'm not mistaken, you have Helms. I think he has like a year or two left on his contract. So the Falcons are going to be in a position where they have to figure out who's going to be that linebacker. And I say
Yeah,
Helms like that because like he's one of those guys that can put on a few pounds and he can play linebackers also. Just my personal opinion on that. But like I said, man, I think the Falcons got more problems at linebacker than we're willing to admit than just Troy Anderson. Caden Ellis is not the answer as a middle linebacker, y'all. Okay. Divine Diablo, he's another one of those guys. We're hoping that he be something. We're
yeah,
hoping.
drafted
JD
Walker,
Bertrand, another hope.
and that's why we drafted Walker because we hope Walker can probably be a Mike going down
yeah. And
there.
that's another thing. Good point, Don. Like I think that could be a situation too, where if he doesn't turn out to be the pass rusher that they want him to be, I could easily see them sliding Walker to that position. It's like you said, it's like an open competition.
I
But I
really
really
think
feel like,
I
go
really
ahead.
I really think Walker's gonna be our Mike, man. I see that. And
hmm
I really see that. They drafted him, then you drafted Pierce in the same round. Like Pierce, I'm telling people, Pierce is our pass rush specialist. He's
hmm
gonna be our he's gonna be our 2016 Vic Beasley. And I said what I said 2016 next to Vic Beasley's name because we know how Vic Beasley was that year. So again, like Walker, I really feel like Walker is going to be our Mike going down the stretch because yeah, if Troy, yeah, the job is his right now to lose. So like, if he come back from his injury and play well, man, we'll give him a contract, and then we'll just have to, relegate Walker. Walker, we just know he gonna be our pass rusher, our outside linebacker. Which is not bad. It's not a lose. It's not a lose-lose situation. It's more of a win-win because we want Troy to make it, to be that Mike, for us. And you still got Walker, as your outside linebacker. And on the other side of Troy, you have Pierce. That's your three linebackers right there.
And
So
Troy, and kind of piggybacking off of what all of y'all saying, Troy's biggest issue is the health part. It was kind of unfortunate last year he got hurt. He had really the best game of his career and seriously was out for the season after, literally in the same game. So for those that don't remember, he had like 17 damn tackles, a sack, and a pick six in that game.
against the
Um,
Saints. Exactly.
there you go. And there you go against the Saints. And like you said, mysteriously, he got hurt and was out for the season in the same game. Um, so that's gonna be the biggest caveat for him is his health. We already know that Troy Anderson is one of the better special teams players on the team. Um, like you said, outside of really Cordero Hodge, like you said, the last couple years, most of like the big play special teams plays were made by him as well. So he would have another chance
You're
in
gonna get
Atlanta
more young guys. You're gonna
after
get more
after
guys
this
like that.
season. But like you said, it is not going to be on no major big money type things until he actually proves it.
You don't give away good special teams to athletes like Troy Anderson. You keep him around. You give him a 3-year deal for about $15 to $20 million and say be our jack of all trades. That's what happened with Caden Ellis. And I promise you right now, the Saints are right there kicking themselves in the ass right now because they did the exact same thing to Caden Ellis. He's a jack of all trades. You can put him anywhere and he can make plays. And it's just not always about 15 sacks and 20 sacks and 150 and 200 tackles. Guys like Trey Anderson that has the athleticism, he has the size, and you can just put him anywhere and just be adequate.
Mm, mm. But
We not patient.
what'd you say? What'd
That's
you
the
say,
problem.
Jude? We not
Say we
patient.
not patient. We not patient. Yeah, that's the problem. We not patient. I seen Mike make his video earlier. Y'all definitely go check it out on Anthony Richardson. We're not patient. That's the problem with us. Same thing with Desmond Ritter. He did a video that we're not patient. That's the problem. If we learn to be patient, you'll see, your return on your dividends if you just wait, and let guys develop. But we're not patient. We want it now. We got to see instant gratification. If we don't see the instant gratification, that's why a lot of guys end up on other teams becoming stars because the team that had them first, they won't willing to wait and let that guy develop. So I agree, completely agree. Like I said, Troy Anderson has all the tools, but are the Falcons fan base and the coaching staff and everybody in the front office, are they going to be patient enough to say, look, when he's on the field, he give us a lot, but are y'all going to be willing to be patient and have faith that he can stay healthy? That's what it all boils down to. So the ball is in his court. Same thing with Kyle Pitts. I feel like those are probably two of the biggest players on the team that this year's like, it's up to you. You go prove that you deserve more money or deserve to be on the team. It's not up to what the fans say or what the coaching staff. It's really just they got to go out there and do it. So, injuries happen to everybody. In football, you're going to get injured. It's just I hope that he can come back at some point this year to show what he can do and do it consistently. You got to be consistent. That's what I think the biggest problem is. But he fits the scheme perfect. Like you said, he fits the scheme perfect. So we're gonna definitely say a prayer. I'm knocking on some wood for Troy Anderson that he can stay healthy because, like Case said, he had his best game of his career, and then boom, out for the season.
And that was like, well, damn. Well.
You can't have
But
superstars. That's another thing. You can't build a superstar if everybody else sucks. Let me say that again because I don't think that people get that. You can't have a superstar if everybody else sucks. Because guess what? Somebody got to take on the blocks. Somebody got to be the one that guards the tight end, the second, third tight ends. Somebody got to be the one that's a great tackler or a great special teamers. Like you can't build superstars because superstars are supposed to do what they're supposed to do. If Tom Brady had to run around, be the quarterback, be the guy that puts all the game plan together, put everybody in the right position and spot, like you wouldn't get that Tom Brady. What? You got Josh McDaniel that did all that, who was great at being an offensive coordinator. You had LeGarrette Blunt, that big son of a gun, the power back. You had James White, all those guys check the ball down. Like everybody, if a guy doesn't have an all around game and he's not an all around superstar, everybody just want to get rid of him. And I think guys like Trey Anderson, these are glues and keys to superstar teams.
Say it again, Mike. You need
I
them
said
glue guys. The
you
Muhammad
need
Sanus
those
of the
glue.
world are what changed the team. When you got
Yeah,
guys that know how to be number two, number three, and they play their role to the T, like we were talking about earlier, I kind of wanted to throw in when y'all were talking about our special teams with Young Way Kubis and those field goals. How many Patriots Super Bowls did Adam Vinatieri kick the game winning field goal? How many AFC
Correct.
Championship games did he kick the game winner? And if he misses
yeah,
that, chances are they could lose that game because he missed one of those game-winning field goals. The other team marched it down the field. They already in good field goal range or scoring position. They win those games because back then it wasn't. It's the first team to score, sudden death. So he missed one of them field goals against the Panthers, against the Eagles when they played against T.O. and McNabb. All of those games came down to field goals, last possession, overtime against us, overtime. Like
yep.
everybody cried about, man, now both teams get a chance to possess the ball. The Falcons couldn't cry about that when Tom Brady now marched down the field in that Super Bowl. Matt Ryan didn't get a chance to touch the ball. 9 times out of 10, how high powered our offense was, we probably answered back, and that becomes one of those nip tuck type games. So, like you said, you gotta have guys that do their job, play their role. No matter how good you are as an individual, everybody talks about was it more who was more responsible for those Super Bowls? Was it Bill Belichick? Was it Tom Brady? Like I said, that team was the perfect storm because every single person on that team did their job. Period. When it came down to it, they made the field goals when they needed to. Guys got clutch interceptions. Guys like Asante Samuel. They made big plays when they need to make them. That's just what it comes down to.
And John St. Clair, he got the comment the other day. Some of those 7 and 10 years could have been a lot worse without Coop.
Yeah.
I don't think people want to talk about that, but we're gonna go ahead and close it
Well,
out, fellas. We're gonna go out here and close it out, fellas. Keyshawn Blackett said the Patriots was a complete team for 20 years.
Team. That means all
T
the film.
E
That's all the
A
cameramen and all the film
M
guys and too. They was a team too.
TEAM
Boy,
team.
down to the guy letting the air out the football. Down to the ball boy doing his job.
Yep.
But Tank, we not finna answer no question about Raheem Morris, man. We about to get up
Nah.
on out of here. I gotta go to work in the morning.
Like Tank trying to keep us up, like for real, bro.
Shit.
all right, shit.
Nigga,
Your
I
ass up,
gotta go
bro.
sleep in 10 minutes. But save the question for tomorrow, man. We got the combo covered up. But
Mm-hmm.
oh my God, you got 1 minute to ask this damn question. And if it has anything to do with what I think it is, but we get up out of here.
What the hell?
It's probably gonna be about Raheem. He probably gonna ask you about Raheem Morris. I already know how it go. but as we wait on his ass to answer this question, man, we're gonna give final thoughts and final plugs. So I'm gonna let Jew kick us off with the final word, man.
Yeah, man. Like I said,
Oh
man,
my God.
I'm gonna
Oh,
keep it. I'm gonna keep it short because I know we're trying to wrap it up. At the end of the day, this season is gonna be mainly based off of every single week you're trying to go 1-0. Focus on the next opponent. Don't get out in front of yourselves trying to look further down the schedule of who's next and all of that stuff that we were trying to do last year. Take it one game at a time. The only game that matters is the Buccaneers. That's all I want us focused on. I don't want to hear about no other teams. The only game that matters is week one right now. That's the only game that matters. That's what this team needs to do. Don't get ahead of yourself. Don't think you better than you are. Don't look past anybody. And I'm gonna leave it at that.
there you go. All right, dog. What you got?
All right.
Yeah, Tay, you asked that question tomorrow, goddamn it.
Yeah.
Yeah, you keep asking questions. We'll be over here till about 1 o'clock in the damn morning. I ain't got time for that. Go ahead, dog.
Well, I just hope every father that loves football took their kids out last weekend for ice cream because hey, this weekend right here is gonna be the first weekend to what a long time from now to February to February. Yeah, y'all go every weekend. Y'all gonna see us on the couch watching TV. So we here, man. We are here.
I got my 3 college games. I'm gonna start the 3 college games to watch out for each week, and I got my first one dropping tomorrow morning. So y'all stay tuned for that.
All right, I've been looking for Auburn versus Baylor, Mike, on your channel. Friday, we kicked off at 8. I hope that's one of the games that you put an asterisk by.
I'm
War
very
Eagle.
look. I'm a huge Michigan fan. I'm gonna be, I'm gonna be a huge Texas fan this weekend.
You know
Yeah,
what? I knew
like I
you was
said.
gonna say that. I knew you was gonna say that.
Oh my God,
Ohio State pride,
you
hotter
asked.
than pride.
When I
They
was
won
actually
about
doing the video, I was thinking that I was thinking of Doug when I was looking at the
Yeah.
looking at the schedule.
pride, and they just get on my nerve. They Ohio State, they worried about us. This y'all just won the national championship. Y'all worried about us getting a hammer before y'all join your own national championship. I'm like, y'all hate us that, but y'all it ain't even hate. Y'all just whine too much for me.
Oh yeah. So yeah, there's gonna be So college football started last weekend. Yeah, like you said, man, we gotta preview this Tech Colorado game coming up on Friday too. So we gonna this is gonna be our
It's gonna
time.
be fun.
Our time has finally come.
Yes.
Victory screech. So hey, like I said, man, kind of gave y'all a little preview of what's to come. The heavy hitters is back. As
Mm-hmm.
you already know, you've seen it on the Mad Mike Sports channel. But like I said, come next week, we're exclusively going to be on the Heavy Hitters Live channel. We just put it over here. So to let y'all know, the band has never broken up. The band has always been together.
Mm-hmm.
But guess what? Y'all had y'all opportunities. Now we finna show y'all how we really do it here. So the heavy hitters is back. The facts, the stats, the truth. So
Yeah, yeah.
until next time, people, we ain't here to play.
Oh no.
We here to stay.
Oh yeah, nigga.
You ain't gotta go home.
Shit. But you got to get the hell up out of here.
And deuces.